Hello everyone, how are you all going? And welcome back to a weekend reading vlog. It's either been a long time since I've done this, or two, it's just this is my first time kind of thing because it's been that long since I've done a weekend reading vlog if I've ever done one before. So I'm counting this as my welcome back to a weekend reading vlog that I'm hoping to do a little bit more often now that I don't work 2 weekends. I don't work Saturdays and Sundays anymore, I just work Saturday. So I have Sunday off. And also Monday and Tuesday, so I will be extending this to Monday. That way Tuesday I have time to edit and all that kind of stuff. But I have two books that I'm hoping to be addicting, 2 books that are very popular. Let's talk about the books and then I will give you a bit of an update because I've been reading quite a bit and I'm already up to the halfway point in a book. The first one is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is about a band, a rock band. They were in the 1970s, like 1970s rock band. They had sold out arenas from coast to coast. On 12th of July 1979 they split. Nobody ever knew why until now. They were lovers and friends and brothers and rivals. They couldn't believe their luck until it ran out. This is their story of the early days and the wild nights, but everyone remembers the truth differently. The only thing they all know for sure is that from the moment Daisy Jones walked barefoot onto the stage at the Whiskey, the band were irrevocably changed. Making music is never just about the music, and sometimes it can be hard to tell where the sound stops and the feelings begin. Holy cow. I know this one has a TV show adaptation, and I've heard nothing but really good things about this one. Emotional, it's impactful, it's told in interview-style format. And when I first got this book, I thought this band was real. I thought this was like an autobiography or something, but no, it's all fictional. I have read a book that has a similar style to this, where it's all told in interview formats. The Themis Files trilogy by Sylvain Neuvel. I have read that trilogy, and it's told in a similar format where it's all in interview format, and it made for a very quick read. So I'm hoping this one will be the same. And this is the book. This is the second and last book I'm going to be talking about, and this is the one that I started last night just to get a bit of a head start in this reading vlog. And I'm already nearly at the halfway point. It's addicting so far. Verity by Colleen Hoover. This one follows Lowen, and she is a struggling author. She is asked to co-write with Verity and finish off her series because Verity is no longer able to. She has a health challenge. Isn't that what it said at the back here? Lowen has been hired to complete the remaining books in a successful series, but yeah, Verity is injured and she's not able to. So Lowen has to go to Verity and Jeremy. Jeremy is the one that came up to Lowen, or had a meeting with Lowen and say, hey, can you help my wife finish her series for her because she's not able to? And she's at the house. And she has to sort through or sift through or even really find all the notes in the series up to date until she finds an unreleased autobiography about admissions, and some of the admissions, it could have negative consequences for people involved with Verity, and on a bit more of a personal level if this unreleased autobiography were to be released. Lowen decides to hide the manuscript from Jeremy, who is Verity's husband, because he's already grieving that this family has had like a lot of trauma already, and she doesn't want to add more to that by saying to Jeremy, hey, look at this, read this. Lowen's feelings for Jeremy, they start to intensify a little bit. That's all I'm going to say. I think everyone knows what this book is about, but yeah, like I said, I am halfway in this book. I did a serious amount of reading last night because I was already addicted. It's a very fast-paced book, and we get to see Verity's manuscript of her unreleased autobiography, and it kind of gives me a little bit of Gone Girl vibes. I want to say The Push as well by Ashley Audrain, and that's a book I've never read before, but I might be spoiling that a little bit. Actually, I think if I were to say Shutter Island, which I've just done, but Shutter Island, just with a certain aspect in Shutter Island, if you've seen the movie, I know there's a book, but I haven't read the book yet, but if you've seen the movie Shutter Island, I think you might know, but I'm still addicted. I want to know how this shit show is gonna frickin' end, because I am really enjoying it so far. Jeremy, the husband, I'm hoping he remains the good guy, because most thrillers that I've picked up, from what I can remember off the top of my head, usually have guys that are the creeps. And I'm hoping Jeremy remains not a creep. I really do, because he seems like a nice, genuine guy. With the manuscript, there is more to Verity than meets the eye with her manuscript. And Lowen, she's alright so far. She's quite anxious, she's nervous, there's been some weird things that are happening. She doesn't know, like she thinks that she sees things from the corner of her eye. There are weird things happening with Verity because Verity is in the house. She's had like such a bad injury from her accident that she had that she's bedridden, or so it seems. It's really creepy, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't like that. I would be thinking like Lowen, like I think I would be going insane as well. And there is something mysterious about Lowen as well. I don't know entirely what it is. It might be something to do with her mother, because she has a bit of a strange relationship with her mother. And it was said as well that Lowen's mother often kept Lowen away from other people because Lowen's mother was afraid of what she would turn out to be like. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? That doesn't... What? It has intrigue there. And there was a scar on Lowen's wrist. No, palm. I think it was, not wrist, her palm. And Jeremy was like, hey, what's this? And she kind of like hid it from him. We kind of got a bit of a glimpse that she sleepwalks, or used to sleepwalk. And then years ago, she had said she remembered locking the door so she wouldn't sleepwalk anywhere in the house. And then all of a sudden she wakes up and her palm, her wrist is broken and there's blood all over the place. So what the hell is going on? Jeremy and Lowen, I don't know what their relationship is going to be like. Lowen is starting to develop a bit of a crush on him. With him, I don't know him. I don't know how he feels. I think I'd be happy if I didn't, because I don't think there will be a romance between Lowen and Jeremy, but I could be wrong. It's still early days. Just with what we're focusing on so far, I don't think there is going to be a romance between Jeremy and Lowen, which I'm happy about, because it just kind of seems typical to have a bedridden wife, and then this younger woman comes into this almost widowed man's or husband's life and then them have a relationship. So I would be very happy if they didn't have a relationship. Going back to Verity's manuscript, I'm feeling like I may be predicting some things, and I have a feeling I know where that's going to go, but it's still going to be addictive and intriguing, and I'm still going to want to see if I'm right or not. I have read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover, so I have read a previous book before. I was not a fan of Ugly Love. I know I gave that one 4 stars, but that was because I felt the pressure to have a 4-star rating from her, even though I hated Miles' point of view. The romance was like, yeah, okay. Everyone nowadays seems to be hating on Colleen Hoover, and back when I read Ugly Love for the first time, people loved Colleen Hoover. So I kind of felt that pressure to give it a bit of a higher rating. But now, like I said, now everyone is seeming to hate Colleen Hoover. And they're like, if you don't like a book, fine, but if a book doesn't do it for you, it doesn't do it for you, then why continuously pick it up? But anyway, yeah, that's my update. And I'm feeling like I could get Verity done in a few hours if I really hunker down and get some serious reading done, which I will do very soon. It might be the next thing I do after I finish talking. I have finished Verity. I finished it, I would say, at least half an hour ago, but I actually really enjoyed this book. I'm like, excuse me? That note, that manuscript, oh my gosh. How I said I don't think there's going to be a romance between Lowen and Jeremy. Boom! Next chapter I read, a romance was starting to happen between Lowen and Jeremy. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? But it's Colleen Hoover, of course there's going to be romance in it. Not to say there's anything bad about that, but just, I should have known. This has been me for the past half hour. I don't know how to talk about this book. Am I the only one that felt really conflicted with the note that Lowen found at the end? Because I think I'm more leaning toward the side of the manuscript. Or is it Verity just such a fantastic author? Like, oh my god, there's just so many things, so many reveals, and because you're kind of like, oh my god, like, you're watching a train wreck happening, you're watching all of these twists, all of these reveals happening, and you're just kind of like, holy shit, jaw on the floor, and you're reading the book so quickly that you just want to know what's going to happen straight away, that when little comments are made by a character, you don't realize until you revisit them with another character, and you think, oh shit, that's correct. For me personally, I think you need to be a good writer for it to work, and I think it worked. There were things that made me think that doesn't sound right, but yet there were also things that made me think, hey, there's a possibility here. I don't think it could have been done as well as it has been for me personally, if the author herself, Colleen Hoover, weren't really good at writing a story like this. I'm just going to come out and say it. People may not see that this is a good book, but I had such a fun time with it. I can definitely see myself rereading it again and again. It took me over 24 hours to read this book. It was so fast-paced. The hours like flew by. I sat down to read a few chapters. Next thing you know, it was like hours had gone by. I know Colleen Hoover collaborated with Tarryn Fisher on Never Never, and isn't that one a bit of a darker story? And I think Tarryn Fisher also writes some darker thrillers as well, so I don't know if Colleen Hoover's experience with working with Tarryn Fisher helped her with Verity, but I just, oh my gosh, like, holy cow. My brain is like all exploded, and I do not know, like, I genuinely do not know what to think. I don't know what to think. I know I'm hungry, but I don't know what to think, because holy cow. And thank goodness Daisy Jones and the Six is a different tone, because I don't know if I'd be able to focus on anything else right now. I gave this one a 4 stars, and just with the way that I was talking about it, and just how well written and how different some things were with the manuscript, with Verity's manuscript and Verity's note. There were differences, yet there were similarities as well. And like I said, there were things which kind of making me think, huh? Say that again? And that made me think, no, the manuscript is right, but then I thought, maybe the note is right? I don't think it could have worked if Colleen Hoover hadn't done such a good job with this book. I know there's like a lot of 1 stars and 2 stars, but you're going to get that with every book ever. But for me personally, I had such a good time with this. I feel like I'm rambling at the moment, and I've forgotten the previous thing I had to say. This cover leaves a lot of fingerprints. I don't know what else to... Oh yes, now I know what I had to say. The romance between Lowen and Jeremy kind of felt a bit rushed for my liking, and some things just made me kind of think, like, really? Like, come on, kind of thing. And another thing as well, it does kind of acknowledge that, yeah, the romance was rushed a little bit, but Jeremy and Lowen did have a good connection, and they did have a good relationship, and I actually liked their relationship. You could tell that they had a bit of a connection. They actually had a bit of a chance encounter before the meeting. This book is a whirlwind. I think I've said everything I had to say. I don't know if I have any more to say, but see, now I'm thinking again, and I'm thinking, is it kind of an unreliable narrator? But Jeremy never gave bad mean vibes. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know what the truth is. Oh well. All I know is that I had a good time. It worked for me. And now I'm off to read Daisy Jones and the Six. But first I want to relax a little bit, because I need my brain to like calm down. And then I'll start reading Daisy Jones and the Six. we are not off to a good start with this book. I'm angry. I am genuinely so angry about this book, and it's making me angry about other things as well. The one thing that's really, really fucking pissing me off is the casual drug use. Yeah, it's the 70s, like 60s, 70s, sex, drugs, rock and roll. I could not give a shit about the fucking drugs. It felt like these people that were involved with the band or surrounding the band were blowing smoke up their asses. So much pretentiousness. It's really fucking me off right now. Oh boy, I'm not having a good start. I don't think I like Daisy that much. Like, I understand that she's lonely and she's just pretentious and up herself too. Very unpopular opinion. I don't know what to say, I really don't. It's not going well, is all I can say. I think another issue for me as well is the fact that it's written in interview style format. I have read books that have had an interview style format, and I've really enjoyed those ones, and it worked well for those books. For this one, I don't think it does for me because I feel like I need to be in the character's head, not characters recounting events. Like, I need to be in the character's head for something like this. I'm gonna give it a bit more. I'm gonna distance myself from this book for a few hours and start editing on this vlog. I'll read up until page... should I read up until page 100? Or should I... I'm doubting myself now. I've heard people say that they wanted to give up on this book, but then they just stuck with it and it got really good. I don't know if it will. A lot of people say the audiobook is fantastic. I can't do audiobooks. My brain wanders too much. Like, absolutely no to audiobooks, but maybe this will be my gateway into it. I don't know. Unexpected turn of events, I'm actually really enjoying Daisy Jones and the Six now. Who would have thought, honestly, with how rocky the beginning of this book was for me, with the casual drug use and the pretentiousness of the characters? I'm actually really surprised that I'm actually enjoying it. And you know what? If this reading vlog has taught me anything, it's to give books one more chapter. Just one more chapter, and maybe things will change. Maybe for the worse, maybe for the better, maybe it'll just plateau and maybe just stay the same. But one more chapter. One more stinking chapter. Because after that chapter I left off with the first update, I actually enjoyed it a lot more. The characters are starting to become a smidgy, like a little smidgen, little bit mature, and it's not really focusing on the drugs and the pretentiousness much anymore, because now both Daisy Jones and then also the band The Six, they have their albums out, so they're making music, they're creating music. I'm really enjoying learning about the music making process. That's really interesting to me. Now Daisy Jones has met The Six, and now I think they are going to maybe start doing things a little bit more together. I don't think the casual drug use will go away, but the pretentiousness seems to have a little bit, because some of the characters got a bit of a talking to, I think, once they realized, hey, get your head out of your ass and make your own life. They just felt like different people than afterwards. They were kind of like go-getters in a way. And it also talks about addiction as well, and how addiction affects other people and what addiction looks like for other people. Some people can handle their shit, like their alcohol, their drugs, and some people have a hard time with it, and some people get addicted to it. And just with life circumstances and the reasons why they become addicted to substances. Addiction's always going to be a thing no matter what industry you are. It doesn't have to be an industry where you're in the public. It's always going to happen. But yeah, I think I'm up to like page 100 now. They've just over 100. They've gotten their albums released and it's doing pretty good now that Daisy Jones and then also the Banes of the Six are together. They're starting to become a little bit more well known, and their albums, like the sales for the albums and the music, is starting to take off a little bit. And I think these few chapters is going to be them realizing that, hey, Daisy Jones could fit into our bands. Like, we might need her. We might collab with her a little bit more. Because of the time constraints of this reading vlog, I only wanted this reading vlog just to be like a weekend reading vlog, so over 2 days. So that means I'm going to finish it up today, which I should have finished it yesterday, but it's Tuesday, my last day off, and I'm finishing this vlog now. So I'm going to continue reading Daisy Jones and the Six because I'm kind of hooked right now. Just to quickly wrap up Verity by Colleen Hoover, I had a really good fun time with this one. It was entertaining, fast-paced. Some things I didn't like, which kind of dragged it down for me a little bit, and also the predictability of some things kind of dragged the rating down for me a little bit, but overall, I had a fun time. These 2 books, I think that's actually pretty good. I mean, I've got, like, just under 25% in Daisy Jones, and I completed Verity within 24 hours, so I think that's a bit of a success for this reading vlog. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. I do think it was a bit of a success overall, and I hope to see you in another video soon. Bye for now.